It is so nice to virtually meet all of you. So hello and welcome. And the fact that you are on here tonight means that some part of you is looking to make a difference in a big way in healthcare. And you believe that there's a part of nutriMetrics that can help you do that. And so I just want to acknowledge you and say thank you so much for being here. And really, this webinar is truly for you. This webinar is, I'm going to ask some questions. They're going to be, if you're here on the replay, you're not going to have the ability to type in live, but if you are live, this is going to be for you so I can better understand you and your goals and how nutriMetrics and how I, Sarah Tugender, can really support you moving forward. And so I'm just going to ask a lot of questions, but for all you guys who don't know me, I just want to meet you virtually. So my name is Sarah Tugender, and I am the Director of Sales with nutriMetrics. nutriMetrics has been a brand, and I'll tell you a little bit about how this has been a brand my family has been a part of since 2006. And I started my career as a pharmaceutical rep. So I like to say that I'm reformed. I like to say that I'm now, working on a whole different side, really more in proactive wellness and true healthcare, in my opinion, rather than just sick care. But I understand that the goals that I thought I had, that I thought that being a pharmaceutical rep could fulfill for me, did not really come to fruition, which is why it didn't last, was not a lifetime career for me. But working in healthcare was. Working in healthcare was something that was really near and dear to my heart. And I don't know if it is to you guys, whether it is that you're on because of maybe a personal health challenge. I could tell you I had my first ER visit before I was 2 years old. And that must have been really scary for my parents. I have 2 kids and one on the way. And I know that anytime I've only one time myself had to take a child to the emergency room. And that's so scary. And I was diagnosed with a chronic disease before I was even 2 years old, and had to have medication always. And, understanding that it's so funny because, at this point now I've outgrown, that chronic disease, and outgrowing it, I don't know what changed, but my lifestyle changed. My family's lifestyle changed. And the thing that didn't change was my genetics haven't changed. And, my kids don't have the same issues that genetically I was predisposed to, because they always say that it's genetic that loads, genes that load the gun, but lifestyle that pulls the trigger. I know I wouldn't have had this conversation with you had I not had 2 grandparents who died from chronic disease. My grandfather dying from the #1 killer in this country, from really heart disease, ultimately is what ended. So I don't know if you guys have a story like that, whether it's a personal health story that you're coming to this webinar with, whether it's a family health story that you're coming to this webinar with, or if it is some sort of business story. And I'll touch upon that, how the business side of it has also been really personal to me. But, whether I find that, we're here really in the footsteps of some of the greatest hospitals in the world, right outside of Boston, outside of the Harvard University system, and Tufts Medical Center, and Mass General Hospital, or I've traveled, down south to Florida. I've been in the Midwest. I've been in Texas. I've been, north in, the Chicago area, Illinois, North Dakota, out in California. I've been all the way up to Vancouver. I even crossed the border, and I'm hearing the same stories from people. So I just want to know, so if you guys want to share, or just say, yep, that's me. If you resonate with this, whether it's a personal health story or a family health story, you know that we need to do something different. And I just really, again, I want to acknowledge you, because I do think that you're here on this webinar because you know that there is this trend, towards away from sick care and towards healthcare. And, you guys are here in the right company. You're really smart. Smart people take notes. So even if this is something that you've seen before, I really do hope that you grab a pen and a piece of paper, because there might be some aha, some light bulb moments that go off for you. So I'm going to turn my webcam off just because I tend to get a better signal with it off. And then you'll see my face again at the end, so don't worry. But let me just tell you a little bit about what nutraMetrix provides, and it's a complete suite of customized cutting-edge solutions exclusively for health providers. I had a conversation with a provider today about exactly what is included in a nutraMetrix account, and I think 15 minutes later I finished up most of the products and services. Excuse me. And so there's a lot. It is a lot that we have. There's a wide variety of products and services that help better serve patients. So of course, that's what health providers, so phenomenal. I mean, anyone that is a healer or a helper or in that role, I have found, that's what we put first and foremost, is the patient first. And that's gonna help. But it is a business. It is a whole economy of healthcare. And we really do need to generate some ancillary income for the practice at the end of the day. And I think you guys would agree, it is important still to have, your personal needs met, making sure you're providing for yourself and your family, especially as a provider who owns their own business, who is the income earner for the family. And so, of course, we're not going to do things that are going to lose money. We want to do things that we're going to spend time on, and time, you want to get compensated with that. But I talk to a lot of providers too who are just saying, I'm in healthcare. I learned medicine. I learned how to help people. I didn't necessarily know how to run a business, and they're paying astronomical amounts on things that we've partnered with nutraMetrix, goods and services that every practice needs. Things like medical office supplies, things like credit card processing, web development, things like financial services. So I don't specialize in those industries, but we have people we can connect you with. So I would say, I got a guy. That's what we say up here in the Northeast. Like, I got a guy, don't worry about it. And I think you guys would agree that everything's changing. It's so different. I think about, I got my hair done, back to school. It's September right now at the time that we're recording this, right? And it wasn't like I went to the hairdresser and didn't know the price of my haircut. And then later, it was like I was leaving and it was, all right, well, you pay a little bit now, and then we'll have my people talk to your people and send you a bill in the mail, and, we'll see what you end up paying. Like, how crazy is that? Why is healthcare the only industry that happens with? Like, I get an oil change, I know how much the oil change is. And I go out to lunch, I know how much the lunch is going to be. I don't understand this whole big insurance game, and it is so confusing for both the patient. I don't know about you guys, but being pregnant right now too, it seems like every time I go and talk to someone and visit with someone, there's a new bill, there's a new something, and you have no idea what it's going to cost. And everything just seems to cost more and more. But so does business. So does real estate. Around the country, real estate, we're hitting this astronomical number where I know a lot of practices that just can't stay open because the rent keeps going up. That isn't, alone how, minimum wage is going up and malpractice is going up and everything is just going up. And I can tell you that, as 2020 approaches, as things keep on changing, that, with change in regime is going to change some regulations, there's going to be change in reform, and there's going to be change. No matter what side of the fence you're on, it's going to change. And change is hard for some people. And there's always good and there's always bad with change. And so I don't know what's really going to happen, but we see this in the headlines every single day. We see how doctors are going broke, doctors are struggling, it no longer pays. And I can really speak to this directly, because my father was in medical school the year I was born. He went on to go into his residency when I was in beginning elementary school. And right when I was entering about my middle school years was when he opened up his private practice in his hometown where he grew up, at the same hospital where my mom was born. My parents were high school sweethearts in their hometown. And Dad had a private practice for over 25 years. And I could tell you just about everything that you see here in this headline, has been conversations around our dinner table, things about pay cuts, things about struggling to make ends meet. And I heard my whole life, you must be so lucky, Sarah, that your dad's a doctor. And I used to say, like, you're so lucky, when your dad's going to come home. And then later, and it's a little taboo to talk about, income and things like that. But I can tell you that one Friday, Dad came home and he said his medical billing company just went out of business on that Friday. Well, that didn't really affect him. Work went on as usual on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But a few months later, when he found out that things weren't getting processed like he thought they were, he had a lot of reimbursements that weren't reimbursed from the insurance company that he thought. He ended up doing a lot of by accident free work, and that really affected him months later. And so, luckily Dad had thought about this a while ago, years before then, and had something in place to have another stream of income. And a lot of doctors are having this conversation. I can tell you that when my eye doctor, I remember in like 2008, 2009, I went for an eye exam and I saw that my eye doctor was offering eyelash extensions, so this is something that we're definitely seeing. We're seeing, 23% of family physicians providing things, not just like eyelash extensions, but medication dispensing, weight loss, in-office diagnostic, nutrition counseling. And you're seeing the cosmetic as well. You're seeing the Botox and the lasers, acupuncture, massage, because they can earn as much as 15% or more. You look at orthopedics. The interesting one I find is anesthesiology. Now, I know that they have the highest malpractice, but I feel like most of the time their patients are sleeping. So I find that is really interesting, but I have seen a lot of anesthesiologists enter the medical aesthetics market. So you can see here, that every single scope of practice and specialty is really searching for something else. And what we know at nutraMetrix is that the supplementation industry, the health and wellness sector, is a $40 billion industry. Twice as much, $80 billion, is done in weight loss every year. Americans are taking supplements. They have great confidence in it, but they would prefer, 50% of them would prefer that it comes directly from their doctor. And the issue that occurred when my dad found out about, when my dad was being asked by patients, Doc, what should I do? Doc, what should I take? Is this safe? Is this good? He didn't really know a whole lot. Dad always knew how to read labels. And I'm sure you guys do too, right? You guys are typically, a well-educated audience that jumps on my webinars. You guys figured out how to jump on a webinar. So you can navigate the World Wide Web, which means that, you're doing great. You're doing great. So you understand too that the, attractive labels on the front, that's not what we look at, right? We flip over those bottles and we're going to look at the back. And Dad was seeing the same thing that his patients were seeing, and he just didn't have answers. Like, why are there dyes? Why are there, preservatives? Why are there things that we know we should avoid, like starch, hydrogenated oils, chemical coatings? Why is that in there? You're looking at things that you're giving your kids that have sugar, flavorings, food dyes in it. And I know, just a few years ago, they took aspartame. Bayer finally took aspartame out of their Flintstone vitamins. And, it's not much better even for the adult ones. And I remember in 2006, it was a fluke. It was so bizarre that my dad asked me to come and help him evaluate if he should start to market some wellness in his practice. And it was just the word market because I was studying marketing at Boston University. That was literally why. And I saw a couple of the slides that I'm going to share with you guys tonight. And, and at no point, I don't know how this is going to go, but I do know that at the end of this, you should definitely get some questions answered. That's what I did. That's what my dad did. And we just kept asking questions. But we know that we're at the right place at the right time, where nutraMetrix is helping health providers generate additional revenue for their practice while providing the wellness-based products and services patients want. Right here, this is a picture of our corporate headquarters. It's located in Greensboro, North Carolina. They have company has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and has 2 years in 2013 and in 2018 received the Torch Award for Trust, Performance, and Integrity from the Better Business Bureau of Central North Carolina. Really huge. I don't know if you look up a whole lot of ratings and things from Better Business Bureau, but it's hard to find companies that have the level of integrity and trust that nutraMetrix and the parent company has. And the mission is to transform healthcare by partnering with forward-thinking practitioners who go above and beyond in patient care. And I'm wondering if you guys, if you want to type in the chat, but, if you can think of, you can either just put a yes or, just put the first name or the initials of your doctor. But can you guys think of a doctor that has gone above and beyond in patient care? We might have to really think about it. Sometimes it can be kind of rare. But I know my kid's pediatrician, I can text her pictures. Like, is this a bug bite or is this, something I need to come in for? And if you really can think about the ones that go above and beyond, that's who we partner with nutraMetrix. And I do feel so lucky every single day that, I am in a position with my family that I'm connected to a lot of forward-thinking practitioners, ones that I have at my fingertips because of, the networking that I've done through nutraMetrix throughout the years. I was just texting yesterday. My husband had a question, and I was texting one of the more progressive nurse practitioners that I work with and saying, is this normal? Is he okay? And it's just so reassuring to be able to have that. But it's nice because we have the wellness programs, and that's something that a lot of providers, I don't know if you're noticing this when you go to your primary care, even your specialist, through the electronic medical records, you're getting a lot more handouts, you're getting a lot more questions asked of you, and they're a bit more proactive. And that's because that's now what providers are getting measured on. They're getting measured if they're giving this information to their patients. But a lot of providers don't have a program to put their patient on. They don't have a program to say, this is how we're going to combat, your feeling of like you're not really doing well with a normal inflammatory process, or, you're really struggling with your, body mass index. This is something we need to talk about, and we need to consistently talk about with them. And so nutraMetrix is giving them the programs. They're giving them the technology, the nutritional interventions, and then a really great network of providers. I mean, give me guys a yes if you feel like it takes a village. And I don't know if you've had to advocate for yourself or a family member when it comes to healthcare, but sometimes it takes multiple providers. I know I recently went through an issue with my jaw, and I started by seeing an orthopedic surgeon thinking it was an issue with my spine, who was maybe going to give me steroid shots, but told me first to go to a physical therapist, and that didn't really work. And so I was working with my chiropractor. I worked with a few chiropractors, and I actually found out that the whole thing was stemming from really my jaw, and I needed a specific type of dentist to help me with that, who now I need to work with an orthodontist and potentially an oral surgeon. And it's so amazing. And I've been advocating for myself throughout this whole process. And it seems as if it was nuts to me that my orthodontist only had one name of an oral surgeon to give me. And I really find that the network that we have here with nutraMetrix, that nutraMetrix can make a difference, can change community healthcare, one patient and one health professional at a time. It's a $40 million division that's been around since 2004. That's part of a $9 billion company. And one of the advantages of nutraMetrix is that we're product brokerage. And this is identifying the latest market-driven products from the best manufacturers. So nutraMetrix doesn't manufacture anything. What we do is we go based on current research to find comprehensive and synergistic formulas. So yes, you can find these manufacturers, work with other distribution companies. And this is all, I subscribe to all the trade magazines. I see all the vendors that are in there. I see all the same brands and labels, but the way that we put things together, and we have some exclusive partnerships that are really different formulas that you can't find these. These aren't available in that, just on retail shelves. It's really nice too that nutraMetrix has this outlet and has a line exclusively for health professionals. Our commitment to quality is quite outstanding. Each product is manufactured with really strict quality control. So the raw materials, the finished products, that we have access to all the certificates of analysis. One of our newest products has a QR code on the back. You can just scan it and you can pull up the lot number and that particular COA for it. And we really are using facilities that are audited. And then on top of the whole thing is every single lot number gets inspected in our warehouse for damage, label, appearance, taste, odor prior to release. And because we're not the manufacturer, because we don't have the money tied up in that if the product doesn't meet the specifications, it just goes back to the manufacturer. One of our real flagships is the isotonic capable nutrition. And so I don't know if anyone out here feels like they don't like to swallow pills, so you're not really compliant with it. Or, you feel like sometimes there's other products out there and they don't taste that great. But the great part about this is it's powders and crystals that when you reformulate them back in water, it has the it's the right balance, so your stomach recognizes it as almost pre-digested. It's the closest thing that you can get to IV nutrition in how the bioavailability of it very quickly, in just a few minutes, about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, when taken correctly. The studies have shown that's when you see the spike in the blood serum levels as opposed to a pill, which is exposed to the stomach acid. This is not exposed to stomach acid quite as long. So the integrity of the product is there once it gets to the bloodstream. And because it's just powders and crystals, it's really nice because the product can be customized either for the patient or for the practice. And auto ship makes it really easy to fulfill it. Everything can be done with drop ship. Have you guys heard about nutrigenomic testing? You might not know by the name nutrigenomic. You might know something like Ancestry.com or 23andMe, but nutrigenomic testing is very cutting edge, and we have a relationship with a vendor, and it's so great with GeneSNP DNA analysis. Tests 48 gene variations, 61 different SNPs, has a lot more panels than a lot of other gene tests I've seen out there. But then it also, what can happen is the health professional in just a matter of minutes can really come up with a customized wellness plan for each patient. Take the guesswork out of it. I told you earlier, genetics definitely plays a role, but then having the proper lifestyle, and there's so many, what's the way to exercise? What products should I take? How should I eat? The fact that it's all just right here in a really comprehensive, with some of the all the SNPs are the ones that have the strongest science behind them currently right now. The other thing, we talked about weight loss being an $80 billion market. I could tell you just about every provider that I talk to is looking for something that's going to give support for their patients, because they're measured on that now with the electronic medical records. Insurance indicators are asking providers to do this, and they don't really have a system that's effective long-term results. And that's what this is. It's based on low glycemic impact eating, can be customized for any practice or any patient. And you're going to see here, that there is some supplements that are with it, but really it is a 12-week educational system, and we just do everything for the provider. It's very turnkey and gives really great results and a great stream of income for the practice. And this is what we're talking about tonight, is how can you get involved as a non-provider? And so nutraMetrix is really your partner in implementation, like me, and it seems like most of the people that are here on this webinar tonight are what I like to call healthcare enthusiasts. folks who, want to be able to partner in their communities and make a difference and find those forward-thinking practitioners and showcase them and be able to make them more profitable so they'll stay in business longer. And it's really great because what we do with nutraMetrix is we train you and certify you on how to create implementation plans, train the staff, do ongoing support. And the health providers love it because you get really great value with your best interest in mind. And the patient is going to get convenient solutions for optimal wellness. And it's going to be all under, with their health provider. It's just so nice. Everything is done also, can be done on an online platform, nutrimetrics.com. Every practice will get this, which has all the educational support, product information, has an analysis called Nutriphysical, where you can take a little online diagnostic. Who doesn't love those online quizzes and things like that? There's cashback rewards for patients, which makes the websites really sticky. That's what it's called in the web world, where people want to come back to the website. And it's really easy to leverage implementation with technology like that. But of course, we still have the printed things like rack cards and patient handouts and posters, displays, seminars. It's all done for you. It's almost like a franchise-like system. So how does it work? As a nutraMetrics consultant, which I've been certified since 2006, I've worked on the corporate side now for 4 years. But what I do with practices in my local area and now referrals that I've met around the country is I do just a quick 15-minute really discovery call that's going to assess practice needs. And then from there, I can create a customized proposal. And I've done this with a full-time job at times. I do this now. I work full-time for the company as the director of sales, but I'm still able to weave this in with my 2.5 kids that I have and, busy lifestyle, and then, be able to create proposals and support implementation and ongoing success of the practice to help meet the provider's goals. And I help a provider understand that they can earn retail profit off of the products, but they also can earn an ongoing income based on commissions, volume-based commissions. I'll show you how they work, anywhere up to $3,600 per week. And this is based on product sales and production. I'm just going to give you a real simple scenario. And this is on average, we have over a $200 average order on our nutraMetrix website. And so we put together these bundles. We call them our GeneSnip bundles, and this is one of our foundation bundles. And it has a B vitamin, a vitamin D, magnesium, our daily essential packets, an omega-3 fish oil. And so this is all bundled together. And the health professional cost of this is $156 with a suggested retail of $215, which is about the average order on our nutraMetrix website. So it's nice per bundle. That's a $58 profit. And what I help train consultants around the country to implement in their practices is to work with providers to just identify 3 new patients every single week. Because I know if they do that at the end of the quarter, they'll have 36 patients, right? If 12 weeks in a quarter, 3 patients a week, that's 36 patients. And with proper follow-up and triage, I can be safe to say that it's a conservative estimate that 25 of those 36 patients will stay on a regimen like this. Some of them might get tweaked a little bit. Some of them might leave the practice, natural attrition. But if we did this quarter after quarter, 4 quarters in a row, just 3 patients a week, we have 100 patients on product. And, I work with massage therapists that see, maybe 30 unique patients every single week. And I work with, providers like my dad that see 30 unique patients before lunchtime on a Monday morning. So, depending on the practice, this is something that they can, even do in a shorter amount of time. And some of them are going to take the full year for full implementation. But at just 100 of these bundles every single month, if we can build up to that, that's $5,845 every single month coming in. And I can tell you that helps with a lot of overhead, a lot of staff, HR, insurance, initiatives, new equipment. things like that into the office with the annualized retail profit of $70,000. Now, every product is going to have a point system associated with it. It's almost like frequent flyer miles, or points you're going to get on your credit card. But this particular bundle has 112 points in it. So really what this means, though, to the provider is what this is going to add up for commissions. And the annual BV commissions are going to be approximately another $20,000. So we're looking at, just if we just focus on this, which is our average nutrametrics.com order, we're looking at total revenue altogether of $90,000. And, it's student debt. My dad paid off his student loans the same year that I went to college. Really looking at debt, looking at the cost of what it is for a practice. I know practices that have used this to upgrade to a bigger office suite. I've known some who use this kind of money to pay for a provider on their staff who is more holistic, so they can have that as a service within their practice. It's all sorts of things, that can be done with extra income on things that, 8 out of 10 Americans are using anyways. And there's 3 different types of accounts. So if you're on here, I know a few of you are on here as a provider, can either have a straight retail account, or you can have an account with full access if you really want to leverage and create something that's going to take you into retirement. Most of you are on here as a non-health professional, just like me, a wellness enthusiast, I like to call you. And this is an advanced account it's designed for individuals who want to work with health providers to really leverage our solution. And the nice part about the HP1 option is just the way that the commissions work is all orders, whether placed for inventory or on a nutriMetrics website, are credited to your account. And there's a little chart you can see here. You'll hit different commissions once your volume levels have been hit. It almost works like a fundraising meter. I can think of my time on the PTO with the schools, the 2 schools that my kids go to. And we're always trying to hit different incentives, and as that keeps increasing, you'll get just a direct deposit of a commission check. So the smallest commission check that the payout is $300, and if you're doing a lot of volume, the potential is $1,500 weekly, and that's on top of the retail profit. Now, if you work with your health professional, and this is what I really teach my providers, and I'll show you why as a non-provider this is exciting to me. I ask my health providers to introduce me to people within their referral network. I just told you the whole team that helped me with my jaw issue, a lot of them did know each other. And this model really benefits multiple health providers in one practice, or any community or networks of other forward-thinking health providers, because what ends up happening is 100% of the credit of volume that's generated within the organization counts, for that provider. So there's an incentive for the provider to be able to really help lead to other providers that want to carry the nutraMetrics brand, the TLS brand, GeneSnip within their office. But, why do we have this other kind of account called an HP executive? Because, there is sometimes it's a large practice, or there's a lot of referrals, and there's going to be a lot more sales volume generated, and a health provider really wants to take advantage of this. Or they're thinking about what happens when they close their practice. They're thinking about their second act in life and creating ongoing income after, the HP1 option is great when they have patients, but beyond having, seeing patients every single day, the HP executive option is great. It also helps with large physician groups and helps the individual health provider and the group at the same time. There's a lot of referrals within their existing networks as providers. They went to school with other providers. They go to grand rounds with other providers. They, refer to other providers. So, I find that once you meet one health professional, there's a lot that they know. They know a lot of other specialists or people of their same specialty. And so when a nutrimetrics consultant, when you as a, really a business developer, you're going to get 100% credit for the sales volume that's generated by your referred partners. Staff members can be trained as nutrimetrics consultants. They can also be certified as TLS weight loss coaches. And the compensation plan can provide income to the staff at no cost to the practice. And those staff members who really fit as an outside business developer and want to be a nutrimetrics consultant can also support referral development outside the practice. We have a program for that. We have a certification training I'll tell you a little bit more about as well. So whether you're an HP executive or a nutrimetrics consultant, you're going to have full access. You're going to get significant income potential to really leverage other businesses, and that's what it's about. I thought about the way that I could just work as an individual versus partnering with large practices like I do, and that's an opportunity that you all have as well. I think that everyone knows someone that knows, someone who owns a healthcare practice, and then that can open up a lot of doors. And the difference is there's a bit more incentive here. There's management bonuses available, and I'm going to refer you to a full compensation plan as well that you can go ahead and watch. But the annual earning potential is, it's a six-figure income. It's $109,000 a year, and you're going to get 100% credit for everything within the organization. And you can earn more income and open up additional business development centers. So there's nothing that's capped here. You can leverage additional nutrimetrics consultants, really leverage yourself, which when you think about a coaching model, that's the way to scale it. When you can come up with other people who can help and you can duplicate your own efforts. And so if you just even opened up 3 of these, we call them unfranchises, you would your annual earning potential would be $327,000 a year. We have individuals who well exceed that, and we have other individuals who say, what if I could work with 1 or 2 practices and I could put together a college fund for my kids at a couple $100 every single month. So wherever you are in your goals, I know that you're on here and you've stuck with us because you do feel like nutrimetrics is an option. So for health professionals, because there's an extra website, there's extra support, the initial just to get it all set up is $159.95. I took my kids to see the movies and out for dinner the other night. It cost me a little bit more than that. And so as a non-provider, as a nutrimetrics consultant, it's just $30 less. It's $129.95. And there's ongoing support that you get with ongoing software, including tax tracking software for mileage, inventory management. You're going to get reporting, e-commerce, a few different websites, and all of that is it's only just under $22, $21.95. No one ever has any minimum orders. There is an initial just to qualify your business, the first 200 business volume, just like if you're going to open up a bank account, there's that initial deposit. Health professionals, the retail accounts are capped at $78,000 per year for commissions. Retail profit always is unlimited, but for the commissions, it's capped. And for HP executive and a nutrimetrics consultant, it's $109,000 per year per business development center, but you can own as many of those as you want. Health professionals in the retail is just focusing on retail. So for that reason, other than the ongoing UFMS and an annual renewal, nothing else is required of them. Where health professional executives and nutrimetrics consultants both have trainings that they're required. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the nutrimetrics consultant training, which is required of our nutrimetrics consultants. Our health professionals all have licenses on file with us. But in order to take full advantage of the commissions, you do have to have 2 accounts that you've referred to personally that have opened and qualified their business in order to earn commissions. you know, I'm sure you guys are well connected. That's why you're on here, because you do want to leverage those connections and referrals. So, you know, you'll probably end up, you know, being above average and referring to more than that. But really find that, you know, if this is something that you just want to do super part-time, you know, having 2 as the requirement is something that the average person can realistically do on a part-time basis. And so we're really committed to your success. For health professionals, we have quarterly trainings online. We have an in-person twice a year implementation and product training. We have local trainings for either staff or health professionals, or, you know, people who are wellness consultants, wellness enthusiasts like you. We have a nutriMetrics consultant training that's going to teach staff members, teach consultants both in and outside of the office, how to really support health professionals' success and build out a business that's a part of this. And so we always say, really get your questions answered. And that's the best thing that you can do. And I know that when you do that, because you've taken some notes here tonight, and you know, what we really want to know from you is how we can support you moving forward. Really why you're interested, why now, and really why nutriMetrics. You know, you can tell us a little bit about, you know, the state of, you know, your life, your business goals, who is in your network, who you could potentially serve, and we can really help determine how nutriMetrics could fit out, lay out a plan that's customized just for you to see if it is a fit. And that's both for a provider and a consultant. We have the tools and resources to be able to do that. And so, I mean, all it's really going to take for the next step is just to book a time that you're going to get back on the phone, get together, share a cup of coffee, whatever it is, and figure out if that could possibly be, you know, something for you. Because I find if you don't get those questions answered, if it's something that, you know, you do pass up, and I know I'm fortunate enough to still have my grandparents, my other set of grandparents that are still with me today, and talk to my grandparents a lot, and they say, you know, there's a lot of things that they wish they did differently in life. And one of them, they always talk about this property down Cape Cod in Massachusetts that they had, and that they ended up selling, and they never talked to anyone about, and they felt like they lost out on a big, you know, potential windfall of money where it was located and the way the real estate market ended up going, but they just never asked any questions. And so, you know, I know if that, you don't want to have that conversation later in life. You know, you don't want to be someone that said there was something that was presented to me and I didn't quite understand it all, and I didn't get all my questions answered. And so that's all it really is going to be, for you to be able to do that. And I can tell you that the type of people that we have that work with this organization, they're just really passionate about it, but they're not there to sell you anything. Because if you do work with us, you know, when you do, it's really going to be a time where we're going to spend some time together, a lot of time together. And we want to make sure that it's as much of a fit for us as it is for you, because we don't need to work with everyone. We just need a few real key people to be able to make this happen. And especially for people that this is really just part-time of what they're doing, and they hope someday that maybe it does become full-time. They are independent contractors, so everything needs to be, you know, really worth their while. So, you know, really evaluate, try the products, and find out if it is going to be a fit for you.